Hi everybody, Gil here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to strip the optics out of a Dynamax 8. Procedure works for either 6 or an 8. This video is primarily for a new owner in Colombia. His name is Hyokin, and his plate was dirty and he wanted some help on how to remove it. So let me adjust the camera. You need 2 tools to do this job. The first is a 3/32 Allen wrench. I use the wrench that I used to use when I worked at Criterion. And you remove the 8 screws around the front of the corrector plate. When you're doing this at home, you should lock, normally you'll do it with a telescope on a mount. So you should lock the scope in declination. You don't want the scope to tip forward with the ring off, because if the plate is loose, it'll fall out and break. Oh, by the way, this telescope came from Rollo, and he was on a hunt to find a good Dynamax. So he bought 8 or 9 of them. Oh, one more to go. He bought 8 or 9 of them looking for a good one, and used to send 1 or 2 my way every once in a while. That's where this tube assembly came from. And I've never removed this plate, so I don't know how adhered it's going to be. Right now that the ring is loose, it should just come off. Did. Now the second tool you need, this is a proxy brush, and all it is a plastic device that you put a little brush in for cleaning between your gums. But you can use this to reach in where the holes are for the primary mirror, and because it's plastic, it won't damage the glass. And you reach in and get it underneath the gasket, and simply you want to keep a thumb on the glass, so if it pulls and it frees up, it won't come flying out and break. And that's another reason why you want to lock the scope in declination so it doesn't tip down. And basically, get out of light, and basically you just pull, and you should be able to see it separate from, wow, this one's in there good. Separate from the backing. There's another hole at the bottom. This one is in there good. I've never removed this plate, so it should be interesting. Whoa! Fail. I will come back later. Well, this one is adhering very, very well, so I'm going to have to be creative. It actually broke the proxy brush, so I'm going to try to wedge something in here just to try to get a little bit of movement in the plate, and I'll get another brush tool to try to get underneath here and pull a little more gently this time. See if I can start to get this adhesion area, which you can see, to separate. Once this starts to separate, the plate will free up, and sometimes it frees up rapidly, which is why you have to retain the plate to make sure it doesn't fly away. And I normally use my bare hands on the glass. A lot of people shy away from that, but I find it easier just when glass can fly around. It's easier to hang on to it, and if your hands are super clean, you won't scratch the glass. Okay, had to trim a couple tabs off the proxy brush to fit it in. Let's give it a pull and see what happens. Again, I'm looking for the adhesion to start to break and not the tool. Holding the plate in place with my thumb. Not getting any movement there. Oh, it's starting to loosen. I can see it. Hopefully you can. Right on the edge there. Gentle, gentle, gentle. There you go. All right, let me get the scope back in a horizontal position. Mark the rotational orientation of this. And there's a scribe mark here, but I don't see a mark on the plate. I'm going to take care of that. mark outside the visible field. Out comes the plate. And I haven't done this in a lot of years, so my hands aren't as trained. Save the cork shims. Plate's out. Good to go. Now I got to get that piece out that I dropped in before. So we're going to take out the primary. Okay. There's a plate. Secondary looks good, a little dusty. So that's how you get the plate out. For the primary, there's a retaining ring on our main baffle tube. Normally there's 2 slots in the baffle. If there are, the retaining ring is on the innermost baffle slot when viewed from the front of the telescope. So this one is just a split C-ring, which is how a lot of the older ones were. Newer ones might have a rubber O-ring. Just be careful you don't break it. So I'll take that off. Got stuck in a second slot. Take it off again. There's a snap ring. Take the primary out. It's very easy. Take the focus knob and move it all the way counterclockwise. You can reach in and touch the front of the baffle. You'll feel it moving forward as you turn the focus screw. And you're going to keep turning till it disengages. A lot of times there's grease in a baffle tube. Don't sweat it. You're going to clean up after. Be careful not to touch the primary. There we go. It's free. You pull it out. Turn it sideways to get through the notches in the cell. And there's your primary. Ooh, this one was loose. You have to watch for that. The one thing I recommend you do if you go to this trouble is just snug this up. It should be tight enough so when you wiggle the mirror, it doesn't move. If you think about it, that would be a lot of movement for the actual telescope. So I just tighten that up. And I'm not going to do much more to this except put it back together because the idea was to show how to free the corrector. So I'm just going to reverse the process very quickly. For the focus receptacle. There we go. Got it? Yep. When you have it, you'll feel it start to bring the primary mirror back. And when the second slot frees up, there it is. Put the snap ring back on. I'm going to keep winding the primary mirror back just to minimize the chance that I put my fingers on it. God, you don't do something for 40 years, you lose the technique. It's hung up. There. Got it. And you can check it because once it's in, you wind the focus knob back and you'll feel it push back when it reaches the stop. Check that real quick. Yep, there it is. Resistance. Oh, I forgot to get the part out. Whoops. There's a freaking little thing. Out you go. If you have a Dynamax fully assembled and you want to know if your primary is loose or not, if they're really loose, if that back collar loosens up, you can tell because when you swing the scope through declination, you'll hear a clunk as the primary mirror moves around. And if that's the case, it's probably a good idea to open it up and tighten that up. Check it. Yep. Put it all the way back. Now I have to wipe my hands off so I can put the corrector back in. Hold on. I'm not going to worry too much about this plate because I haven't aligned the scope. I'm just going to put the shims back in. And I have the rough marking. But when the plate's out, that's when you clean it, obviously. I'm not going to go into cleaning optics procedures. It's not the scope of the video. Get in there. I didn't plan for this video very much. It was kind of a last minute thing because a user in Colombia got a hold of a Dynamax and was trying to clean it. So not something that lends itself well to a verbal explanation. So I figured I'd make a little video. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, it's not going anywhere. Ring goes back in. Handy dandy tool. Since you probably didn't used to build Dynamaxes, you don't have one of these. So you can get a 3/32 T-wrench, works equally well. And these are kind of like a car wheel. You don't put them all in one and tighten them one at a time individually. You kind of do it go around. And they don't have to be very snug either. You're really only holding the corrector plate in from moving. But you put all the 8 screws in, make them snug, good to go. Hope you enjoyed the video. It was interesting to make because I did not know it was going to be as complicated as it was. This telescope probably hasn't been disassembled since it was made in 1976, and I've actually never looked through it, so I don't know if this really is the good one. I doubt it, but you never know. And one day I'll look through it and find out. Anyway, have a good day, folks. Hope if you have a Dynamax and you need any help with it, reach out to me. Bye.